Hello. Gonna update this timer. Let's go. We're gonna go for 2 hours. So we've got a little 2-hour timer up there. Just move that bit. Alright, cool. Yeah, so we're at this thing. We've got a little cache bit that goes on and drop some stuff in there. Let's have a look at 2-player. We're working on creating a co-op horror extraction-y game. So we've got some issues here with replication. So let's go take a look at this delivery location. Make sure it's actually replicated. Yep, so just got to tick that box down there. That would help. Alright. So still not great on the UI there. So we're missing something. Got these items. Player. Oop. Smashy. Dunk. Get some little bits going on there, and then you can throw these. So it actually exploded there before it reached the client, so there's a little bug that we've got to fix. There's a couple of bugs we've got to fix, so let's just get cracking. Just as a quick review, we have gone through all of these in the last few sessions, and this last 2 hours is going to be setting up a hub room, setting up a chase bot and a down but not out segment, and then cooking tests. So we've got a list up here. Hub room, AI chase, player can hide, down but not out, flashlight smoothing, just a little bit of a tweak there, and a cook test. But I do need to fix a couple of bugs as well. So let's start with the bugs. First one is that the UI wasn't updated. So we have this on cache updated. If we have a user widget, then we'll update it to cache goal minus current cache. Current cache is 0, cache goal is 0. Set current cache here, on cache updated. We have a loot manager that is going to determine 150 on our loot score that we need. It's going to go and get the delivery location and set that cache goal, which is intended to then call that the total was changed. However, we should probably also call on cache updated. See how that goes. So we've got the 150 there. So that's looking good now. And then obviously we can take one of these in. This one's 100. Now it's 50. So that is updating nicely. So the next thing, there was also a bug, is if I'm holding this object and then I have it take some damage, it actually hides the UI. It's also hiding the UI. Oh, well, that just disappeared. Because I hold this item and I want the UI to show permanently. I don't ever want it to hide again. However, if I tap a wall, it will flash and then it will eventually actually go away completely. So what I need to do is double check on why that's happening there, because I want it to stay on screen. So we have this event graph. If we take a hit and the actor is not ignored for damage, which is for the delivery point, and all these other conditions are good, then we take some damage, we set the cache to visible, and then we delay and hide the cache after. But what we should really do is just ask another condition here. We don't want to hide the UI if... I guess we'd hide the UI for other clients. Let's have a look at this. I think what we could do is have a custom event MC hit or MC damage, I guess. And that could be multicast. It doesn't need to be reliable necessarily, although maybe it would make sense. We want to make sure that everyone gets this little damage event occur. So when damage happens, we're going to say, hey, is damage equal to 0 or is health equal to 0? We will destroy it. And this is a problem here because basically some of the clients don't actually play this event. So what we might do is actually just play this somewhere else. Let's move this here. Let's move this death event to the destruction event. So we've got the event graph here. When it gets destroyed, it plays the sound, but it doesn't always play the animation, the particle system. So we'll make sure that that particle system plays. We want to make sure that we multicast the damage, and when that happens we show the cache if it wasn't already shown. And so this of course is one of the problems. We're supposed to be playing this animation forward from our last state, but it always just restarts. So let's promote this to a variable shown, and if this is not equal to shown, then we'll set shown like so, and then use that as the boolean here, move this up and move all these over. So this is just binary, making sure that we're either on or off for some of this logic. I'll fix one problem. When we take damage here, we want to MC damage, I think. And it does come in with some properties, so we'll make sure that those are good. And then on the authority, we update the item data here. So we'll make sure we've got a location here, and we'll just rename this to normal. That'll come in there. And then I do want to hide this for anyone who isn't holding the item. Like, if you're the person holding it, it shouldn't hide, but if you were not holding the item, the cache should go away. So if the holding pawn is valid, it's locally controlled. So either of these two conditions, not local or not valid, would actually hide the cache UI again. Let's try that out. The guy on the left is just looking at the wall, and the guy on the right is going to pick up an item, and then he's going to accidentally hit it against the wall, which shows the cache to everyone like, oh, that guy just made a mistake. So the destruction event, we want it to be Z up. That. Okay. So that's those two bugs sorted. Let's look at our list now. We wanted to have a hub room. So let's make sure that this is actually in a room that makes sense for the hub. We'll do it here. So this is the room where we need to take everything back to. Oops. And I'm going to move these loots out of that room. So these loots can happen across the world. We'll make sure that our players are starting in the loot room, or the starting room, I should say. There is a little place to hide back here, so maybe not this room. where could I start this game from? Would be the simplest to add. We'll do it back here. So I'm going to create a new room off the back of the game world. Probably stick some. Oh, they changed all of the buttons. Where's scale lock here? No, is this scale lock? Scale lock. Toggle whether object snap to a grid. There is a scale lock here. We'll just do one. There we go. Maybe. It's kind of working. Now we've got a space for a room. Put this off the back here. Just make this floor wider. Then we do just need a ceiling for this room. And if we go into lit, oh, not top, lit, probably going to want some lighting in there. So we'll steal this. Got the second one. Not very big lights, I would say. Can I expand the size of them? I can, but it's technically not what I want to do. Hit the spotlight here. Attenuation radius to be 800. So that's our room where we have to deliver everything, and then I do want like a door that takes us there. So I'll just move this door over. And we have this nice little helper that I think is like geometry scripting. I'd love to learn how that works at some point. And a little tool. Let's bring this roof down. Doesn't need to be that high. Okay, so this is your starting room. May need to be a longer room as well. We don't want to trigger this door too early. So I might put this back here and just extend these out to the back. Extend this floor again. Works for me. Okay, so now when I hit play, I'm starting this sort of lobby room, if you like, the starting area. We've got our place that we need to drop stuff off, and then we go into the level. Go pick up these items. Off and then complete the quota. Okay, so one thing I noticed was that I faced the ones to actually spawn facing that direction, but they still just faced forward when they spawned, which was, oh, it's because I got camera on. Default player start like so. Ah, cool, 150. There's a bit of a color issue that I'm going to go and fix. the cache on the top right for the cache that you have is a different color to the cache on the objective, which is confusing because they don't have a direct relationship. Let's fix that. Now when we start, we see this green UI that says 150, and we look at the top right and we've currently got 0 of 150, and maybe that gives us enough of an idea of what we need to do. As a goal for that mission, so just like inherent information. Let's get rid of these items. What I want to do is also make sure that you can actually somewhat finish this mission to some degree. So when we get the required cache and we spawn some loot, I want to make sure that the cache in the level must be more than the required cache. So I'm actually going to multiply this by 2 and just make sure that there's 2 times as much loot as there is cache, because you can break the items. So now, when I run through the level, it's now a game about finding that loot. There is no time limit currently, and maybe we should add one. Okay, so we found one item, which we immediately broke because it moved away from us. So we should probably fix the fact that that can happen. We're going to need a way to change the distance of the item from our view, because we just immediately broke the item. So in the IMC horror, we're going to add a new input. Oops. Let's call this IA_zoom. This will be a 1D axis. Go in here, IA zoom, and this will be the mouse wheel axis. Save that. Go back to the with a horror player, and in our inputs graph, we'll add IA zoom and a custom one on the server edit zoom. What this is going to do is set a spring arm length. Set target arm length, so by default it's -300. So here we've got a server reliable call for whether we're increasing or decreasing. So we get target arm length here. We plus select, and this increase. If we're zooming in, we want, if we're zooming the mouse away from us, we want the distance to increase, and so we need to actually add a minus to that value. And if we're coming closer to ourselves, we need to do this, and then we want to also clamp this so that we can't go too far away. So we'll clamp this to -600 and -150, let's say. Let's see how that feels. And on our input action here, whenever this is started, we will server zoom. And if this action axis value is more than 0, we know we're zooming in. I didn't get my dot in the middle of the screen. Oh, I did. Okay. That's cool. Not actually getting any results. Make sure something's happening. Right, it happened on the server, but not on the clients. So what we actually need to do is promote this to a variable target length and have that be replicated. What we can do is add a nice smoothing from current to target. Delta seconds. Let's take the speed of like 10 for now. Put this into our tick. Updating the rotations here. If we're rotating an item, nope, we want to do this whenever we have an item. So update held item. If that held item is valid, let's get rid of this. And we'll just update the target arm length at all times whilst we're holding an item. Target arm length by default we know is -300. One thing that we want to do as well is when we pick up an item, or when an item has become held for the first time. So we'll do on rep held item here. I actually want to set this spring arm length to be whatever the distance was to the item. We'll get the distance to our spring arm, because we don't want it to attempt to push away, which is what happened originally. That's why we lost health on the item immediately. So we'll also set our target arm length to this value as well. I say it is multiplied by -1, and also clamped to the same axis, but it might be fine. So we can move it away and closer to ourselves, but it does take a little bit of effort. So I want to go back to our inputs, make sure that this edit is much easier to perform when we're rolling that mouse. Yeah, it just comes closer and further. How close can we get this? Pretty close. Dorser. Now's the game of like trying to find an item, which obviously takes ages. One thing I do want to do on our loop is when we start focusing is to just maybe change the color just slightly, just enough that it helps us tell that we're actually looking at it. So I'll just make it a little bit less red. And you would do something else in a separate project, but you can see now it actually highlights, and that helps a lot with recognition that we're able to click now. Another bug that I want to fix, and we need to disable mouse release for this, but is if a person joins late and someone's already holding the item, the only thing that we do is we tell the physics constraints to get set up, and so we have a problem where that object might actually attempt to like go through a wall because the person's on the other side of a wall now, and so in those cases we need to actually teleport it on begin play. So let's just see if that is happening. So we've done the hub room. We've got some other bugs to fix though. So let's go fix the one about loot moving through areas in the world. Just close things that we don't need down. FP horror here. Okay. Let's actually go and edit something else quickly. Okay. So we're half an hour in. We've done a hub room. So that's cool. Little hub room at the back. And we've got the zooming done. We're looking at when we release the mouse key, which is here on cancel and release, we server release the item. I'm not going to do that, which means that I can hop another user into the game. I'm going to move all the way over here. And so the theory is, because I've moved this item over here, if a new player joins, he's probably just going to slam this physics object against this wall. So we'll see what happens when we add a new player. It actually doesn't update at all. So there's something new. Obviously when it gets destroyed it will update. Okay. So something's wrong just in general there. What should happen is there should be some on-rep for the holding pawn, which makes me set my gravity to false. I'm no longer replicating my movement, and a couple other bits there. When we grab the item, we tell the pawn that it's holding an item. And so this should also come through, but I think we've got this issue where it's relevant or it's valid without on-rep because we joined late, so that packet hit us immediately. So on held item change. This needs to be called on begin play. is why this would be nicer. This holding stuff would be nicer as a component. That's okay. And then we've got on-rep holding player. So we want to collapse this to a function to on-player change. And we just want that update to also happen on begin play because we don't want to miss what that logic might be. So let's hit play. If there's no held item, then we should ask if this is valid. Put that in there. Just had an invalid moment there because of an order of operation, so we fix that up. Okay, so we pick up this item. No longer works. I love that that's no longer working. All the same functionality is going to happen. Yeah, somehow it no longer works. So we broke something in the process of moving some of that around. I think it's time to fix the architecture of this held item. I think that this is a bit suspect because we're holding references to something being the case, like a state, on two actors, and we're trying to keep them in sync, whereas we should really just have one thing in control of the state. And so in order to do that, I am going to take a quick look at what I'm going to do is, let's have a look. We've got blueprints. I'm going to create a new blueprint. We'll go with, could be a scene component. It needs to really be an actor because it's going to have spring arms and other things associated to it. Can't actually create our own physics handle, so this might actually need to be an actor. And then this actor would hold everything that is related to holding an IM, and the player that owns it would have input on it. So clicking would trigger the behaviors for grabbing stuff, and then I can move all of the logic over to like the handle actor. They'll be responsible for all that physics. So let's do BP physics handle actor. Let's just start moving some things over. So our spring arm here, we want that whole thing. Oh, it didn't take everything. So let's take everything. That's going to be the root. And we're going to add a physics handle to this, but we'll take it from here. Now, let's change. Let's just compile some of this. We'll get some errors, of course. One thing to note is that when we click, we grab the item, we know the pawn. And so I'm actually going to cast this to horror pawn on, and let's put our old actor in here. That physics grab. Physics handle actor. We would set our held item on here. The held component would be a primitive component. The unwrapped. This actor will be replicated. Yeah, it's going to need a tick. It's fine. That's this to handle actor. That held item. To our static mesh root. So now we're not going to hold replication in two places, we're just going to hold replication in that one place. We'll take a look at the holding pawn here. When the player changes, we want to change some things about the actor itself, which we will now handle from this onRep. Global help function on held item changed. If the held component is we could ask if this grabbed component, we'll do a sequence. We'll say if the grabbed component is valid, then we should re-enable gravity on it because we're about to because we're dropping it now. Well, first we might promote this to a variable. Promote to local variable I component. This is the currently grabbed one. Music has an annoying scratchiness to it. So we have this I grabbed component. We're going to take that. We will release it. Set its gravity back to true. Set its replicate movement back to true. We'll worry about this other part in a second. So next up is if the replicated held component is true, make sure that we wrap these in a comment. Grab new item. So again, we would do the opposite of these. So if it's valid, we're going to turn its gravity turn its replication off, because now the grabbed component is going to handle everything to do with position. We had in our event graph, we had an update held item function that would update the location. We're going to take target spring arm length here as well. That's going to need to be over here. Let's make a function called update zoom or update length. We are going to need tick on this actor. That's good. Target arm length will create a replicated property for that. Move some of those functions over actually that we just created for the zoom. I'm hoping that because we're the owner, we can call some of these functions. This is on our character, right? So we have ownership over it. We've got the item rotation logic, so we'll move all of this. Target rotation will be replicated. Back to our event graph. Update held item. This is valid. We'll take our physics handle, the target rotation, get the world rotation, I believe, of our billboard. Will be, maybe it'll be this. We didn't need to interpret anymore. This interpret was old. We didn't need that anymore. Because this physics handle has an interp speed on it. So that interp speed right there. So we didn't need to interpret. Okay. This target issue here is locally controlled. Right, so that's for the owner. We're going to cast this to owning pawn. This is the start here. This is like state. Do refs. Begin play. We want to get our attached parent actor. We read the text for this. It's we walk up the chain to the root component until we counter a different actor. Like we just get parent actor. If this actor was created by a child actor component, it returns the owner. So we want this one, cast this pawn. That's our owning pawn. So down here, set rotating item. We don't really need it to. This isn't going to be replicated, I don't think. Yeah, this isn't going to be a replicated variable, so we don't really need to even check if we're locally controlled. But it is nice to have a reference to the ownery of the way. In our horror character, we can get rid of this function. And we have the update constraint. Server set item rotation here. And we've also got, yes, a setter for the world rotation. So let's go back to our physics handler. We'll do update arm rotation. So as long as we have an owning pawn, we will update the arm rotation to that pawn's base aim rotation. And then we've got this rotation function that will create another force update rotation. If we're rotating the item, which is obviously a local only function, then we'll do all this. I think the rotation speed was 35 previously, so just use that. Okay. Back in our event graph, we do need to call all those functions, and we need to call them on tick as well. So, we're going to update the length of the arm based on the zoom that we do. We're going to update the transform of the object based on where we're looking. We're going to update the arm rotation based on our pawn. We're going to update the item rotation. I have a missing target here, which will be the spring arm. That. We've got this function here which we're going to take. We'll go into on, let's close all this down. We've got on held item changed. We've got a big load of code here that we need to also consider. So this is our grab function. So upon grabbing, get this pawn here. Where's that owning pawn? Get the root component. That's primitive. Right in there. That root component is going to be the capsule. So that's how we reproduce the same behavior. Get a held component here, get a spring arm, plug that in. Okay, that's when it's valid. Make sure this is being called. And then we've got a little bit of code down here that just says, hey, you know what, if we don't have this object anymore, then A, we shouldn't be rotating the item, and B, we should no longer be ignoring movement on it. So take this, put this to pure, put that in there. Got a local function in here called grab component, so we'll take that. Plug everything in here, and then I think we're good to go. So grab all these functions, make some space. And we've still got these two functions that were to do with hiding and showing the cache UI for the held item. So let's see if we can go find some of that logic. We've already transferred that. So unheld item changed. How is it still in use? Yeah, we don't need it. Update constraint rotation, update held item. Double check that function. Yeah, we did clear that. Set held item, I'm going to need that anymore, and it's called from somewhere else. On rep held item, we're not going to need that, and held item is no longer going to be a component of this asset. So let's make sure that we find references in here. So this is for releasing the item. We'll take that into our new class. We do have a server release item, so we'll take that. This code component. So it's saying release item, which was in turn telling the pawn to drop it, but I don't think we're going to need this function anymore. In fact, we don't really need it. Go and put this here. Sequence. Okay. So that's cleaned up a little bit. Pawn in there. We don't need this holding pawn anymore. That could be nice to get rid of the references to that. Don't think we need this. And when we do damage here, we're saying, hey, when you take damage, this is a temporary show. Loot actually doesn't know, or in my new design here, the loot doesn't know who the holder is. It's kind of like top down, it's like player, handle, item, and it doesn't go back up the chain, which does make it a little bit easier to read, but sometimes you can't get the references to the things that you need. One thing that I find interesting now as well is I could probably fix some of the logic in the negative 300 stuff. Like, that can be 300 now. Find references. It can now be 150 to 600. Be 100 to negative 100. Like, this is just cleaning up math that was inverted before because I couldn't sort it out on the player because it was just inheriting some rotations from it. But now, if we go to graph and take a look at this physics grab, it is just hitting us. Turn it around, right? No? I don't want to do that. I find it interesting that the spring arm, and this is something I didn't know before, the spring arm just doesn't collide with your own like owner, essentially. Now that I've moved this, it does, which means I might need to actually change the logic. Additionally, rotating this actor 180 degrees, it still has that same behavior with the negative side of the logic, that needing to be minus 300. So I wasn't expecting that, but that is how that is. So interesting that this, maybe it's because the spring arm is the root that we're getting basically same behavior. Is that still negative 300 there? I literally just changed it. Okay, so it's facing in that direction, and then I go change the spring arm to like negative 300. And that's flipped the other way. And it does actually change it. So... okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll just put it here. Hopefully that will be okay. Alright, so still just fixing bugs here. We've only got an hour left. I don't know if we're going to get everything that we want done. Bar debug lagger, which is good. I'm not getting our pitches anymore. Let's double check that. We are ticking. And target arm length by default is -300. Replicated, so that's good. We have our tick here for updating. Where is it? Updating the aim rotation. So let's just hit. The pitch is down, so that's good. Make sure that we're debugging these again. Yeah, so that's good. Next is just to find out if we're actually getting the inputs that we wanted from, like here, for example. So we're not receiving any inputs from this. All we need to do in our horror character is we have an event somewhere, for exactly where it was. Controller changed here for initializing the owner on the input component. We'll do something similar to the physics grab components and get child actor. Maybe it's valid. And similarly, if we enable this actor here, and this is actually locally controlled, okay. That's this play. Whichever one is valid first, or last, depending on an issue. And the debug off on this, kind of annoying. I don't think we're actually getting. Oh, no, we are. That's good. Okay. This one. Alright, so the child actor, this is such a replicate, but I think that this also needs to replicate, possibly. Find our interact component. I don't think this is triggering interact anymore. Okay, so it is. Interesting, because we we're hitting all of these. Yeah, we're starting interaction. We are the server, so it only does it once and immediately. In our loop here, we're not actually getting a callback for start interact. It would help if we called the on help button changed here. We could do this. Doing anything with grub component after that, so that should be fine. Left right is good. Up and down is like nearly the same thing. Left and right, I'm not sure if it's the right direction. Another thing, just quickly for myself here, is to just test this with this enabled, so I can actually drop it. Yeah, so dragging my mouse to the right rotates it clockwise. That makes sense. This doesn't make sense. The way it moves in that regard, but that's okay. And we keep losing sight of it, so I guess yeah, that's annoying. That's the stop focus logic. I'm just going to fix that. That shouldn't happen, and that shouldn't happen. Let's just get 2 characters back in here. Owning porn is unknown, okay. So we're going to collapse this to a function here. Hash owning, or just init owning, initialize, I guess. Initialize. The attached parent actor is not valid. We should call this again, because we know it's going to become valid. It's just not valid right now. Just check that all of the pitch stuff's still working, yep, so that's all good. So rotating it isn't doing anything on the client side. Dropping it isn't doing anything on the client side either. But I think this enable input thing needs to happen. Rotate it, or at least something. Well, hang on. That was working. Some of it was working. Click this, lift it up, right click. I can't. Yeah, okay. So it is passing over my inputs. Clean this up a bit as well. I'm going to move everything that's an input action over. Into inputs. Color coding for this. Knit. Lever edit zoom. Just that rotation. Use purple. Locations. Red for tick. Got some regular stuff down here. Blue. So this just helps me like get around the blueprint a bit easier, because purple is replication, blue is just functions or events that can happen. Green is initialization, so I don't need to worry too much, and then red I can just find the tick straight away. after an issue right now where it's just not rotating on the client side. I wonder if it's rotating on the server. It is not. Oops. But this is working. That's definitely happening on my client side, which suggests then that the tick would be running and updating the item rotation because we are rotating. Our rotation speed is 35. Maybe this isn't coming out with anything. Definitely coming out with something. Okay, so now I think despite it being attached because it's spawned by a child actor, ownership actually is not set. So if we just set owner of this to this controller, that might fix what was happening. Where we're not getting what's happened. I don't actually think any of that's working. I'm going to go back to here. Broke again. Why? Oh, so we're saying that this side never really worked. The owner is used for replication. It allows you to call RPCs on the actor. I don't think the RPC is ever actually going through. Yeah. Maybe hit this. need to do is, I think, authority check here. If we're on the authority, screw this. We're not going to initialize this from here. I'm going to initialize from init from because we know for sure that this is a good place to do this. No, we need to do it from both. We do need to do it from both because there's a case in which you get your controller but the child actor isn't ready, and there's a case where your child actor is ready but your controller isn't ready, so you do it from both ends. That just saves you some adding timers and things. You just have two events. There are two things that need to be valid for this to run, and so you just do it from both ends. But what I'll do is I'll just cast this to just call initialize them. That way at least I'm only writing the code in one place. When the controller changes, we just want every connection to run this initialize. So in some cases, we'll actually run through here and set up the owner. In some cases, we may not. There's just other more second clients and things like that. But hopefully now, we'll pick this guy up and rotate him. God. Run through him. I need to see what that hit is, because that hit is happening. Print. Comp. Another comp. So I can pick this up. And I get those collisions again. Ignore actor when moving. Not ignore. Could ignore. When there's a new held component, then we should get the owning pawn. I'm curious now, and I'm going to go and open the video from earlier today to find out the exact requirement for this, because apparently I've done it wrong. Digging back through my code from earlier today just to see, because I don't have an actual repo on here. Like a GitHub or anything. Learning through my old code. Found it. It was just capsule component ignores the actor of the held item. It's exactly the same thing I'm doing right there. We just do one. Is it one of those ones that only works on the server? Oh, still hitting me again. Or I need to just set owner here. And then the owner becomes the owning pawn like this. And then over here I can take this and set it to false when it's dropped. And I can compile that. Go into loot and be like, as long as the other actor is not equal to my owner, then I may move forward. Yeah. I guess it never really was working, it was just the thing that said like, Yeah, it never really did work, did it? Maybe I just need to do it in both directions. Let's try. This held component should ignore the owning pawn. When it's moving. None of this works. Such a pain in the ass. Just none of it works. Okay, well, I should really just go and solve it as a lesson to be like, hey, you know, there are other ways of solving this. One of them would be yeah, no, that is the way to solve it, but it doesn't work. Like, you can't do anything with channels because the channels aren't the same on everyone's. Anyway, so they can't be bespoke. I needed to do something in which the UI for the cache will show when the object is picked up. So for example, the user interacts, picks up the object, and if it's local, we set the cache UI to true. And then when we drop the item from this physics object, which is inputs, we release the item here. This gets released. We get an onRep if we had a held item. Firstly, we would want to clear any delayed hide time handles. Do a property. Anytime this changes, we don't want to mess with it. However, if we the object, I wonder. This probably needs to be called on the object in question. like this entire show and hide probably should be on the loot object. Yeah, if I was to do more iteration on this, I would actually turn this grab interface thing into just like the capability to grab any physics actor, and then you would interface to it to be like you were picked or dropped, and so then you can pick up things that aren't just loot. But what I'm about to do is set a function for delayed hide cache here that I'm going to call directly on that actor. So for example, we're going to cast this to loot. We're just going to say set time event. Delayed hide cache. Already got this. Get cleared if we change it. That should just widget, yeah. So it needs to be here. Just one player is enough. Let's the item up. Oh, it doesn't go away. Oh, it did go away. Awesome. So I don't want. The damage rate. We go down. Take damage. The holding pawn is never valid, but to get her in there. Ask if that's valid. Not valid. Is valid. It's the owner locally controlled. Saying I can't delete that. 17 minutes. Might have to go a little bit longer. What time is it? Yeah, we can go longer. The instigator, I believe, is a controller. Oh, it's pawned. We're just going to select. We know that the owner is a pawn. Okay. Alright. So what happened is it took damage and the UI went away. So whilst I'm holding it, I want the UI to always be there. Unless I tap it against the floor. In which case it flashes, but I don't want it to go away unless it's another client. Unless I drop it completely. In which case it goes away, and then if I have two clients, it will just always stay on for the person who's holding it, and it will flash on and off for the person who's not holding it. Sweet. So what else have we got? Wow. Yeah, we fixed a bunch of bugs. There was one bug in particular that I wanted to fix, which I'm going to go and fix now. So we didn't get many of our things done. We only have 15 minutes, which we'll just go and update the timer. Give us an extra half an hour. Okay, so where were we? We were doing an input drop, but we're going to do it a little later. Now everything is controlled through one place. Okay, now so if I stay here and add a new client, the thing is not there, and it's also not where I thought sort of want it to be. Begs the question, like, where is it? It is attached to that guy's thing there. But I get the feeling that like show wireframe didn't work. See, I get the impression that it's like it's underground somewhere essentially. It like spawned and tried to like go through a wall and these kind of things, or it's at 0, which is also not at 0. It's not anywhere else. So one of the ways that we could fix this is that when we unwrap the held component, we set the world location of the held object to the world location of the billboard. So we just update it one time. See how that feels. That has now worked a little bit better. One-shot items did go a little bit crazy. That might just be because my character spawned there. That's not good. Okay. That kind of solves that problem. It does look a bit rough on the initial like grab. But it does solve a big problem. One thing we could do is conditionally do this based on whether it's too far away. If it's not, then we don't need to do it. Also, we are setting ourselves up for failure here because we're setting a replicated variable on an event that now happens on all connections. And so what can happen is this variable becomes what it should be, but then the other client does this distance math and then essentially breaks the distance because they overrode it essentially. If this distance is more than, say, 100, maybe we'll teleport it, or maybe just like 200 units. That's cool. Let's turn these to be hidden. And actually move on to creating some kind of monster. Okay, so we need an AI chase. New folder, AI. We'll use a state tree for this. Hopefully state tree is enabled. Gameplay state tree, cool. Okay, so let's make a state tree. Okay, no, we'll go create blueprint. 8, 3, 3. State tree component, brain component. No, we don't want any of these. Right. Well, I guess we'll create the character first. So blueprint, character, BP enemy. Let's just use the mannequin. Whichever mannequin we're using for the main player. You can always just watch videos on how to change this. Use unarmed, I guess. Controller, just be an AI controller, cool. And by default, I don't want there to be a controller on this one, so get rid of that. On the player one. But for the enemy, yeah, let's make a new color for this enemy. I've got a lot of white on there, which I'm not keen about. So there seems to be anything I can do about it, so so this is our evil enemy. We need a state tree, so we add a state tree. Oh, there's a new one. State tree component designed to be run on an AI controller. It uses the state tree AI component schema that guarantees access to the AI controller. Let's make a new AI controller. That looks new. I haven't seen that before. AI controller. BP AI. Okay. BP. I will make sure that this is the one that's set by default. It says used on an AI, so we'll do state tree AI like so. We'll grab this. Got a new state tree. Can I make a state tree? Artificial intelligence state tree. We'll go with state tree AI components schemas, ST state tree AI enemy. Okay. So it already has the AI controller, so that's cool. Right, let's add some states. So we're gonna have wander. case. And attack. We are going to, in our wander, it's going to be where things get spicy. Child state. Moon. Yes, I can use move location. Let's go and make some move locations. Vector BP underscore move location. Made a marker for our loot that I'm going to use as base for this loot point. I called it. I'm actually just going to copy this over to our AI and just call this path point. B underscore path. BP underscore path. There's a couple of these are on the map. Have stuff outside. I really like this level. There's like confusingly more spaces every time I look. Okay. So those will be all the paths that, or path points that this guy can like move to. So let's save everything. Go to our enemy here. Our state tree. We've got this choose move to location. It looks a lot different than I remember. It needs a task. There is a new move to task. Task moving to the given AI is pawn using the move to framework. Succeed when the move ends. The destination fails if the move is impossible. Cool. Well, let's run a move to. What's the destination? It's going to be a target actor. We need, I think it's called an evaluator. I think you need to make through blueprint class. So this is how you can like save properties for your AI. We have variable here. Next, I guess. Actually, no. What am I talking about? We don't need this right now. We need a task. Then the task is going to be to select a new node. State tree task blueprint base. I think. BP task underscore select new blueprint. So you can override. Upon entering this state, we get all the actors of class of what I call it, a move point. Point of some kind, path point. And then we just get a random one of those. And God, there is a specific way of naming all these variables as well. Path point. It's just an actor, like there's nothing really special about it. Just do that. And then do we need to call complete task? Finished. Finished task succeeded. We picked a new, or possibly the same, path point. This needs to be like in a category. I think it's just output or something. So choose move location does not do a move to. And I'll just replace this with a select move to location, which outputs a path point as a, I guess, possibly as a variable that we can do something particular with it. God, I can't remember. F12. Not gonna work. We need to open up state tree guide. State tree quick start guide. Okay. So can I then add a move to that uses path point? Hopefully. Then he does that. He does that until he finishes, and then he has a state child wait. We just add a delay of 3 with a random deviation of 1. And then we add a navigation volume for our level. It's been so long since I've done AI. Good old, forgetting all the things. There's just so much in Unreal now. Specialize on my games. So if we press P, we can see that we have navigation mesh somewhat working. Let's double check that there's no major issues. There is an issue here, and so what we want to do with this is ignore it, because as the AI walks towards it, he'll just walk straight through it. So just say that this doesn't affect navigation, and that of course didn't work. Set mesh, Add a static mesh component that doesn't affect navigation. That didn't work. Set meshes, add another static mesh component, don't affect that. Add another static mesh, don't affect that. Okay, so now we can go through. I think we missed a door. Add static. Yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. So now the AI will be able to walk through the doors. So all we need to do is state tree AI, BP enemy, drop that guy into the world. He needs to, well, he needs to use the AI, so he does use the AI, and the AI, because this is only on the AI controller, which means it's only on the server, it just starts the logic automatically. We select the state tree, hit play. Hopefully we just see him walking around. So it looks like he's just failing over and over and over. Because he chooses, and then he tries to move to it. Acceptable radius will be like 500. If the task is expected to react to changes in the location as input, no. Filter class, allow partial path. Track moving goal, allow strafe, sure. Let's just compile that. What I want to do actually is just simulate. And then we can come in here and open the gameplay debugger. Somehow, debugger. So you see this massive, thick load of, these are all the moments that this guy's going through. So he has a tick transition trigger that could not trigger completion, jumping back to the root state. Try and enter the root. Try select children in order. Wander. So but then he just goes back to root. I don't think he ever actually hits this. Yeah. Maybe he did. Well, like he didn't. I never got an F9 on there. Just restarting over and over. You can clear this somehow as well. I don't. Oops. Okay. Enter condition. There is no enter condition. You're just allowed. State required event and entry conditions be evaluated when the transitions leads directly to its child. Try, type, wander. We'll ask if an object is valid, and the object will be our AI controllers. I wonder if we add a variable to this AI controller right now, if it's actually gonna. It's not the AI controller, this one is. If I add a variable to this called target, and it's an actor, is this actually going to work? Make it a visible variable, come over here, compile this. Oh, you don't like that? Wander condition object is valid, is not good, sure. Yeah, so it doesn't like that. So what we can do is we can add our evaluator, and inside there, the blueprint, override tick, get AI controller, damn it, AI controller. Context. I don't know if this is correct. Let's just find out. State tree AI controller is a context. It's the AI controller. Thank you. Call this eval AI controller just to make sure that I'm not just reselecting myself here. Yeah, cool. So the evaluated AI controller. In fact, can I change this to AI enemy? I call it. I come in here. Yeah, it doesn't like that. It's just a regular AI. Please start. Get this, cast this to custom one where we have a target. Which we actually don't need to really do anything else with now, because what we can do is for the enter condition on here, wander. The enter condition is if the object is not valid, that is the enemy AI's target, then we can enter this trait. So we're still going crazy. Window, debugger, stop. We can just scrub at any time along here and just be like, well, what's going on? Could not trigger completion transition, jump back to root state. Trigger, tick. Evaluator happens. Try to enter root. Try to select children in order. Wander, enter object is none. Select children, choose move to location. Yeah, do one and then the other. Does it not do it? Huh. I guess it tries to do them at the same time. I'll add a child. Let's just like move to target. Or just move to path point. I guess we could try and ask if we had. Yeah, I can't actually pick the path point from here. Move to. Yeah, it's no good. I can't push. I can't like push this path point anywhere. It's not letting me. It's just an output. I thought it would do these tasks in order, and it must do. Doesn't make any sense otherwise. Select a move to location, then move to that. then in the debugger it's like choose move to location. And it transitions. Did not trigger completion transition, jump back to move state. Why? Why not? State completed. Why can't you do that? Maybe just because there's no transition. On state completed, go back to wander. So at any time we choose move to location and then state completed, we go back to wander and we just do it again. Yeah, because we were hoping that moving to a location would take some time. Maybe I should have added this, go back to wander. We changed this at real time now. Probably not. Compile it, simulate it. So now we'll see him just turn every now and then. So he'll be like, I want to move in that direction. What I don't get is we come in and then immediately we wait. Okay. Wait, wander, root. So in that order, root, wander, wait, and then tick, wander, try, enter, object is valid. Try, enter, choose, move to location. Choose, move to location. Execute children in order. States required event and enter conditions be evaluated when transition leads directly to its child. Oh. No. I mean, no. Should states required event and enter conditions be evaluated? Yes. And then this one, no, I guess. Utility consideration. I've not seen that one before either. This move to location just not doing anything. Just find one. It finds all 20 of them, and then it finishes the task successfully. Task. Yeah, state tree finish task. Whoa, there's loads of chat. We're live in a 3D world. Gotta step out, gotta finish my potato salad. Hey. We're working on just jumping through the state tree and then showing a little bit about how we can debug it. Although it's of no use because apparently I can't figure out why the choose move to location isn't actually completing in the way that I want. Task, select move to location and then move to it. But it's no good. I'm gonna have to take a quick look online. We've only got 10 minutes left for this guy to run at me and eat me, and then that's it. State tree AI 5.6. I know state tree, gameplay, state tree, yes. And they've added so much stuff. I'm gonna need to relearn all of this. Don't see move to in here ever. Like I never see move. Oh, there's one. Choose move. And then it exits. I'm guessing it just fails to move. That's like, my gut is just telling me, okay, he's just failing. And then that's just it. Like nothing actually happens at that point. It just fails. Which sucks, because that's basically the end of this video, is me going like, oh, we can finally do the AI, and then being like, you know what, I'm going to have to come back after the weekend and do the AI, because I don't know why it won't work. I don't know why it wouldn't work. I just ran. It's not turning, which I find. Well, maybe he's just facing the wrong direction because he's a character who's just facing the wrong direction. So what I found there that suddenly made it work is that there's a condition here for tasks. All tasks need to be complete for the group to complete. Any task can be complete for the group to complete. So the group was completing and then going straight to wait every time. Oh, I won. Look at that. Oh, rock. Yeah. So I'm just sneaking around. There's gonna be an enemy. Oh. I can literally hear him running around. He's just Usain Bolting it through this place. Ah! Oh, there he was. Okay, so he needs to move slower. That's for sure. Also, I forgot to re-enable my nice new handy actor that I made for 2 hours. I forgot to re-enable dropping the item. So now we can drop the item again. Yeah, that AI needs to move a lot slower because he is just full on sprinting through the world. We'll go with 200. Why would you be facing the other way? Sir? Why would you be strafing, sir? Can we unstrafe you? Can we not strafe? Oh, I need to do that. You know, if this was a scary monster. Okay, so that did work. In here, we need perception, AI perception. In the horror FP, we need stimulus. Then you just set what this one is. So register as a source for, we'll just do sight for now. We would do sound and stuff in another episode, another session. This guy in his AI controller, he has AI perception. His dominant sense is sight, and his sense configs for sight can be, it says 35 meters, which is quite long, but let's just go with 1,000, like 10 meters, 10 to 15 meters, because that means that, like, if we're literally on the other side of the map, he can walk around this area over here and not actually get us. So it's 15 squares, I believe. Each one of these squares is a meter. And so what you can do is you can right click, add an event for perception updated. That's it, add event for updated. What I'm going to do is like get currently perceived actors, get a copy of 0, and if that's valid, then target's still valid. If it's not valid, target's invalid. I'm also going to store a location, last known location. Use that as a vector. Yeah. Sequence if our last target was valid, store last known location, then null out the target. So it's just a simple little piece of logic that's just like anytime my perception is updated, whether it's someone new or lost, then we'll make last known location. Why is this not good? Can't pass none. Whatever. Back in our state tree here, wander, we can transition out of this you can transition out of this on an event. Let's just do tick for now. Transition to chase if the AI's target is valid. And then chase is like the opposite. And just to make it simple, we'll do tick. Go back to wonder if the object of the AI target is not valid. And then when we're in chase, just add child state, chase player, task, move to AI enemy target. Sorted. What time are we on here? 31. Oh, look, my time ran out again. Let's just get rid of that timer for 5 minutes. Alrighty. So, choose player, chase player, sorry. Yeah, when it completes, it just transitions to route, sure. Let's see if that ever works. And firstly, we'll need to know if this works and if this works. So we just need to get seen. Hello. AI perception. Wait, is did I set this up correctly? AI stimulus auto register as source. Let's do that. We can add sound and stuff later on as we run. We can create sound. Right here, man. Right here. We could also just try pawn sensing. How do we know when he's lost the pawn though? Because we see the pawn. It never says that we don't see the pawn. How is that helpful? Yeah, like... it's truly not. Let's get rid of it. Do an event here on target perception, maybe. Oh, sense to use sight. Maybe it was fine. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, awesome! It crashed. Well. I am going to reopen it. I am not stopping there. And then yeah, next time we'll have to do the rest of it because I had to fix a bunch of issues and move some code around just to make it a little bit easier to use. So I ended up spending a lot of time doing a little cheeky refactor, even though earlier today I was like, I'm never going to need to refactor this. This is going to be perfectly fine. I was wrong. We're allowed to be wrong. Okay. So he's happy. See me. See me. Miss me. I feel like none of these events were triggering here. Oh god. No, we're just getting repeat. This is state tree. These crashes are state tree, I guarantee it. I remember working on a big project with a lot of enemies, and we had some AI that used state tree in there, and my god, was it crashy. It would crash a lot. Saw me. He definitely saw me. Amazing. Oh yeah. Where's he going next? Oh, last location. Awesome. Target. Awesome. If I go to the ST now, and then I stick. Oh well, I didn't code this part, but I guess he's going to end up here next. Guessing you are also false. Yeah, so he just ended up like looking somewhere else, right? So now just need to code a little bit inside here. So we need to make him run when he sees someone. So custom event set chasing, I guess. This can be a multicast, reliable, and we will set the warp speed here. Select, so 600 was pretty fast. So if he's chasing, he's 600, I think it is. And then if he's just walking, it's 200. I think we're defaulted to 200 here, yeah. And so that's going to come directly from here. So we'll go custom event set on chasing. On that's the enemy. Not very reusable AI now because I've just done this, but it's fine. Here's the name of this chasing. Caching. I'm the one who does the caching. Chasing, set on chasing to true here, and then to false at the end here. This seems to happen either way, so we'll just do it on the one. Then every time we hit play subsequently, we will crash, because that is the Unreal way. I love that video. If you didn't see the Unreal way, just type into YouTube, the Unreal way, and it's really funny. It's so very true. Okay, so if we're back, this guy's gonna chase me. And if it was a monster, he'd be like yapping his mouth. All kinds of stuff. He's gone downstairs. Never mind. Really far downstairs. Excuse me, sir. Ooh. Ooh. There is literally no way to escape this guy. Let's make his move speed slower. And probably simultaneously crash it again. Let's go 450. We didn't crash that time. Oh. Yeah, he gave up. He never does go to the last known location, I realised. Because I haven't coded that in. I don't have any sprint left. So he runs after me like a little bit like, I don't know whether I should be running after you, sir. Just a little bit of a wibble. State tree. st_enemy AI. I'm going to close this next time as well. So here, we don't want to go to wander here. We actually want to go to a new substate, I think, called investigate last known location. So here, instead of on tick go to wander if we lose the target, we will instead investigate last known location if we lose the target, and then this will be a move to that moves to the evaluator enemy AI last known location. Yeah, with a file of Regina acceptance, sure. And when it completes on state complete, it'll go to the root. So that'll be cool. This is a lot easier to code now as well, which is great. It reads kind of logically. Are you done? Are you done, sir? I wonder which state he's in right now. Well, he's doing something over and over. Investigate last known location over and over and over. Why are you doing that? Are you never allowed to leave on state complete? Yeah, maybe we'll change how this works. Add a new state called investigate. I like to do these as like nested like this. And then so go to last known location. Chase player fails. Go to last known location. We'll call this investigate. Throw it normal. If the object's not valid, we'll come into here. This will go back to root. If we're chasing the player and we complete, then we will transition to attack. Then attack will have a child state do attack. Because you might want weights and things, so I like to nest them like this, and then you can just cancel them down. Be like, oh yeah, he can wander, chase, investigate, and attack. That this needs to be a task, obviously, that we code. I don't have any time left, I've got to go, but I will see you guys, and I'll be back. I might come back tomorrow on Friday and crack on with this little last bit of attacks and setting it up on HIO and sharing out a video and things like that. So I might do this tomorrow. It just depends on what family's doing. Otherwise, I'll be back on Monday morning for another bit. But yeah, if you've got any questions, got any requests, follow me on Discord, throw me requests in there. The link's in the description on the channel here. Follow the YouTube because there's a lot more stuff on there that's coming. So jump over to our YouTube channel, follow us there, or subscribe I should say. That's where these will get uploaded as well, these VODs. What else? Yeah, enjoy, have a good weekend. See you later, everybody.